Well, no, I mean, honestly, if you're a repairant person, you should let the resident know that you're coming.
Well, I feel like
because they would come on like a Tuesday, and then they wouldn't show their face until like not 2 days later, but 10 days later.
Yeah.
Be like, we're here for the next part of the chore. And like, honestly, at one point I helped them move all my furniture from one room into another because they were doing one particular room and they were going to come back to do the next room the next day. But they didn't. They came back like 3 days later. I just didn't have access to my bedroom for a few days. I didn't have access to any of my clothes in my bedroom or my bed. I just slept on my brother's couch and washed the same clothes after 2 days of wearing them.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. A little organization. Let me know what you're planning on doing before we just go ahead and execute it.
Now, wouldn't you think they would contact your landlord, and the landlord's job would be to contact you and be like, okay, this is when they're coming? Because they're not going to contact the individual. They're going to contact the owner of the building.
Well, no, they got to contact the individual for me to like even let them in. At one point when I was sleeping over at my brother's place, they called me to be like, hey, you're not home. I'm like, no, I'm not home. I can't sleep on my bed. You guys have been doing work in my place. Well, we need to do work now. Why are you telling me this now? Why didn't you tell me this yesterday? And we would text back and forth, but then like they would forget to tell me that they were coming in the next day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's pretty upsetting. I do understand the part about doing everything in pieces, though. Like,
oh my God.
You're going to sand everything. You're going to rent the sander. You're not going to rent the sander, bring it back, do a bit more, then rent it again. Just do everything in one shot.
I see your point.
Inconvenient for people.
Inconvenient for me especially,
yeah.
who had very little damage in his home. But from where all the damage stemmed from. But honestly, they could have done all the work they needed to do in my apartment in 3 days, but it took them like 2.5 months.
Yeah. What was it? $25,000. Is this water leaking onto?
Water leaking through the floor, ruining a ceiling, ruining a floor, ruining a ceiling, ruining a floor, and a lot of belongings.
Like little princess babies and stuff. Like the
princess babies.
I'm trying to think of what's worth so much money. Like maybe if the water's leaking into a crib.
No. It did ruin a bed.
Okay.
It did ruin a bed and a mattress. So that's probably, $1,000 or $2,000 right there. All the floor and redoing the floor and ceilings. It's not just like one spot. You got to redo a whole bunch of it when it's water damage because then it could rot and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
It gets pretty complicated.
I guess so. But you didn't have to pay for it.
That's right. Insurance.
And you are not bankrupt.
That's why insurance is important. Pay your insurance.
Yeah. You have insurance?
I have insurance. I have renter's insurance.
Should I have
you
insurance?
Probably should, yeah, to insure all these VHS tapes and what have you that you have in here.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, because if there's a fire, it just all goes up in smoke. Or you can say, hey, I have all these DVDs and VHSs, invaluable. Give me money.
Yeah, I guess, but I'll never be able to. I wouldn't buy them all again.
Well, no, that's not the point.
No.
You own these things of value. You don't need to necessarily replace them, but they need to give you the money to replace them.
Maybe that's what I need, though, just like a good fire. just to get rid of everything. Because I feel like a flood, it'll damage everything, but you're still going to have to go through it later, and you'll see it, and you'll have to mourn it, kind of say your goodbyes to it. A fire just gets rid of everything, nice and clean.
Burnt.
Not clean, but metaphorically nice and clean. Everything that's gone up in the fire in flames at the dust now. And you just don't have to, you don't even worry. It's like, what, this pile of ashes? I don't even remember what it was. And then you move on.
I suppose so. But, well, how are you going to claim on the insurance if you don't remember what it was?
It's true. Pictures.
I suppose. Take more pictures of your stuff.
Yeah.
I should probably do that as well.
Yeah.
Matthew?
Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of pictures.
Yeah.
I took a picture of my burger before sticking my teeth into it. Listeners, you can find that picture on Instagram at Burger Edition on Instagram.
Yeah.
You can also tweet at us at Burger Edition on Twitter and find us at facebook.com/Burger Edition. Leave comments. We've been getting some comments lately. I forgot to share this with you earlier.
Oh.
Getting some tweets or seeing some tweets. Some listeners are pretty unhappy with their lack of spatulas.
Spatula update.
Yeah.
I promised there would be an update. Those spatulas are coming.
All right, Matthew, I'm taking the spatula purchasing off your hands.
Too late.
Have you purchased spatulas?
Purchased spatulas? I'd say no. But
you would.
But that's not to say the spatulas aren't on their way.
Well, why are you being so cagey? What's the story with the spatulas?
We got to talk about this off air, Sebastian, but I just want people out there in the world to know that if you have a spatula coming to you, you will not be disappointed. And I know that just sounds like a lot of build up to buy me time.
Yeah, sure does.
But, the barbecue season hasn't officially started yet, so just hold your horses.
Well, sure, but you could use them indoors on a pan.
Yeah. We're having, the only thing left to do, I'll tell you this now, the only thing left to do is the packaging. The packaging is very important to me.
Yeah, I feel like I could get that done in a couple hours, though.
Oh, well, it's not your task.
Is that the only part that's left?
Yeah.
Really, the packaging?
Yeah.
I feel
and
like...
some logo design.
Logo design?
We got to come up with a good logo for these spatulas.
I think we have one.
All right.
All right, if you're hearing any weird sounds in the recording, it's because Matthew's cat is on our recording table purring.
I don't know if that's...
And chewing on my watch a bit.
Wow. I don't know if it's making it to the recording, but maybe. So spatulas are on their way.
Okay, so when those spatulas are ready, we'll send out a photo and contact everyone who has spatulas coming their way about how we can get them to you. Some people have already told us specific street corners to meet them on. Yeah. Scott, I'm talking to you. But we'll probably mail them. I think that'll be easier.
Yeah. I promise if we mail them, the postmarked, the date stamp on those are not going to be anywhere past the 20th of May.
So this month?
We're
getting it done this month?
Within the next 10 days.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just want people to know that we mean business.
Okay, good. So we'll send out a photo of that spatula when it's ready to be mailed.
Yeah.
Speaking of photos, I took a photo of my burger today. Matthew, what did you think of your burger today? We got different burgers. Tell me about your burger.
I was really just looking for a burger that didn't have any mushrooms on it. Because they really love their mushrooms over there.
The Italians, they like mushrooms.
Yeah, what was I going to order? I was going to order some portobello burger and then
the
just
Godzilla
take the
burger.
Yeah, and take the portobello out.
Yeah, but it was like, this burger has a portobello mushroom and garlic mayo. Matthew's like, well, I'm going to take out the portobello mushroom.
And you advised me against it.
It seemed like maybe choose something without mushrooms.
Seems wasteful.
Yeah.
So what did I end up taking? I took the Tony? Something Tony?
Big Tony.
The Big
Tony. Fat
Tony?
Tony?
Something
Was it Big Tony or Fat Tony?
I think it was the Big Tony.
Okay.
I don't think it was the Fat Tony.
Fat Tony, like in The Simpsons.
Yeah. I just don't think it was that.
Okay.
That name. There was... Yeah, I really don't do a good job of taking note of what was in the burger. I just make sure it doesn't have the things I don't want.
Yeah. No tomatoes, no mushrooms.
Yeah.
Good to go.
There was like a tomato paste in there. There was pulled pork, I guess, was the biggest part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, some regular stuff. Cheese, a lot of lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not really lettuce. Same kind of lettuce that you had. What is that?
I think it was an arugula.
An arugula?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we had the same thing then.
It was quite good. I like the lettuce, actually.
Yeah.
Very crisp.
But it was served to us in something different than we've never had something like this.
Matthew,
before.
you like plates? You've had baskets. You've had just straight up wraps.
Yeah.
You've had food presented to you on a wooden slab.
Yeah.
But this was the first time that our food was presented to us in what was apparently a small wash basin.
Yeah, or like an archaic bedpan.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was just like it was like the most shallow bucket, like a 4-inch deep bucket.
Yeah.
I imagine it would be like what you would wash your hands in your like washroom in your old Italian village.
Yeah, or if you had a farm, maybe you'd serve milk in that to some of the animals.
Why,
some of the
for the animals. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I liked it.
You liked eating out of a bucket?
I did, because it's like a big plate, but with really thick rims.
Yeah, really high rims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had a nice little, not menu on the bottom. What was it? It was recipe.
Yeah, it was like a
bottom.
little wax newspaper thing with like a fish recipe and the history of smoked salmon and other things like that.
Yeah, I wanted to try some of those recipes out, but it was very greasy by the end of our meal.
I was looking at that and just feeling bad for whoever the writer is tasked with writing the wax paper that food is served on. Because someone wrote that. Someone spent like a day or two researching the history of smoked salmon and writing a little article about it and putting together some recipes for different things just so that food could be served on it and it would look kind of cute.
Yeah. There was no name
No,
credited to
no,
it, so
no byline on that.
so maybe they just removed that as well, just to add further insult. Overall, burger surprised me.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Didn't love the fries.
Mm-hmm.
They looked really good. They were really thick, really crispy. Just I wasn't in love with them. But the burger itself, Sebastian, juicy, thick, had a lot of taste going on. I think it was the pulled pork that I was really tasting.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to just get a pulled pork burger, so because a pulled pork burger is just a pulled pork sandwich.
Well, no, a pulled pork burger is a burger with pulled pork on it. A pulled pork sandwich is a pulled pork sandwich.
But I need a burger. I need a patty in there to make it a
right,
burger.
That's right.
So if I just have pulled pork between two pieces of bread, that's just a
It's
sandwich.
not a burger. It's a sandwich.
And I was
yeah.
worried that's what I was getting, so
I
very
wasn't.
pleased. I
It
know
was in the burger section. None of the burgers listed the beef patty. They just listed what would be sitting on the beef patty.
Yeah, it's true. But some of them said veal. Some of them said vegetarian.
Veggie. But at that point, it's specifying if it's a different thing. I was very interested in getting a veal burger. I don't know if I've ever had a straight up veal burger. I've had a mix veal beef pork burger.
Yeah.
My mom used to make them like that. But I've never had a straight up veal burger. And I feel like it's an Italian restaurant thing for them to say, try the veal. So I was thinking long and hard. But the other toppings on the veal burger were not questionable. It wasn't the mood I necessarily was in today. So I decided to go with the Siciliano burger, which had pepperoni and mushrooms, arugula, some sort of tomato-based sauce, but not much of it. Very easy on the tomato-based sauce. I could have used more of it personally, but it was a pretty decent burger. The pepperoni really added to the taste, made it a very flavorful experience.
Salty.
Yeah, a little salty. What'd you think of the buns, Matthew?
I didn't pay too much mind to the buns this time around. I noticed that they were not an average bun.
Mm-hmm.
They were a pretty substantial bun. Not too greasy to the touch.
Yeah.
That's really all the note I took of them.
Yeah,
I like them.
Not too heavy, not too light and fluffy. They were kind of a happy medium, personally, I found.
Yeah.
The burger itself, like you said, thick, juicy patty. The toppings were quite fresh and nice. Personally, this whole package, though, left something to be desired. And mozzarella as well on mine. Mozzarella cheese.
What do you know what was left to be desired?
It was, even though the pepperoni was adding a lot of taste, I felt like I was missing some kind of taste. Like it was missing an X factor. I don't know what it was or what it should have been. Something a little more Italian, I guess. I know it's a burger. I know it's not the most Italian of foods, but you call it the Siciliano burger. I expect something a little more Italian than what I got.
I don't know what could make it more Italian.
Well, I mean, I had an Italian beer with it, which helped.
Yep.
I had an Italian dessert with an espresso, kind of helped the whole experience. The French fries were nothing Italian about those.
No.
I was quite disappointed with those French fries, honestly.
I think did not. Left some.
I left almost all of them.
Yeah.
I had a few of them. Added salt, as you would do, Matthew. Had a few more. And then then realized I just don't like these fries. I'm not having any more. I'm gonna save some for dessert. Matthew, what did you think of the service?
Well, we were the only
Birreria Italico.
We were the only people there.
We were the only people there at the time. We went kind of late for lunch, early for dinner.
Yeah, so we had to wander our own way in. Find somebody just to have them say, yeah, you just sit wherever. I think you suggested we sit wherever, and they were like, yeah, that's good. You decided to take a booth that was meant for like 8 people.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Whatever. We were the only people
By the time we left, there were 3 other people who were sitting outside.
Yeah.
So there was still no one else in the restaurant.
That's true. I guess service, once we were noticed, service was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
A little too good. A little too like, still everything okay? Everything okay? Everything's fine.
Did you have an issue with that?
No, well, I thought you might though, because
No.
you usually have issues when people ask you things once too often.
No, it's not the once too often. It's this happened again where the quality check was done too soon, where I had like 2 French fries and not a bite of my burger, but they're saying, is everything okay? My answer at that point has to be like, so far so good. So I have not eaten most of my food,
Yeah,
or tasted most of the things in my plate.